Hey, it's Petra, and I'm here to do a reading for Libra. Thank you for being here. Thanks for tuning in. This is number 7 in a new series I'm doing on this channel. I'm pulling tarot cards and I'm pulling out my rune stones and doing collective readings by sign. This is number 7. We are on Libra. So wherever you have Libra in your chart, that's where you can apply these messages. Again, thanks for being here. I hope this finds you well, and I hope these messages can be useful to someone out there. Yeah, I had to take a few days off and kind of get myself together and figure out if I could actually keep doing this. If this series is something I can keep up. YouTube is a new format for me and honestly a little bit uncomfortable. Visibility makes me uncomfortable, period. So I had to, can I really, what did I get myself into? Can I do this? So here we are. Thank you so much for subscribing. It's so funny. It's like, I really appreciate the support, but it made me nervous. It made me nervous for a second. I was like, oh my God, I have almost 30 followers. Can I do this? So yeah, it makes me nervous. Thank you for the support, but it did make me nervous, and I had to take a few days off to figure out if I could keep doing this. So here we are. I decided to keep going. I realized that what I can see is important to offer my fellow humans and is more important than my discomfort with being in the spotlight. So I'll try my best. Yeah, these readings are simply reflections. I am not channeling spirits. I'm not doing predictions. I'm not looking into the future, right? I'm simply taking a look at what's there for Libra. I know how to look with my heart and look at what's behind the physical reality, look at what's behind the people, places, and things. So I'm offering this reflection as a tool for you to use as you navigate your people, places, and things. So here we go. Let's see. How is Libra feeling? What's up with cardinal air? What is in the heart space of Libra? What is in the heart space of the cardinal air? Right there. What is in the heart? I almost said card space. What is in the heart space of the Libra? Okay. That's weird. Strength is at the bottom here. You're exercising a lot of control, a lot of self-control, a lot of restraint. You're trying not to participate in some kind of drama. There's a 3 of Cups and the 5 of Wands underneath the strength. I'm seeing some kind of like almost family dynamic between 3 people, or some kind of social situation where even social media, some kind of group where there's drama going down. There's something playing out. There's some kind of back and forth. And here's Libra like, nope, my energy is more important. I don't want to put my energy into this. I don't want to participate. You don't want to participate in this, whatever this is going on. You're like, but I think I think it's hard for you to not participate because the strength is in reverse, okay? So I think you're struggling not to participate, struggling to restrain your energy from getting drawn into whatever this is. This is definitely feels toxic, whatever this Three of Cups, Five of Wands energy. It's some kind of pattern, group engagement, how people are engaging that requires you to step into a mode of being that you don't want to be in. So you're like, how can it's like you're trying to, you have to be around these people. You have to interact with them. You see them on a day-to-day basis, or you work with them, or they're your family. There's something where you can't actually like exit yourself from the scenario. So you're trying to just not let your energy get sucked in while still being within it. And that's pretty, kind of impossible to do, right? That's why I say this strength is in reverse. You're trying not to get sucked in, but I think you are. I think your energy is getting drained. Your energy is getting pulled into whatever this toxic social group is. Whoa, yeah, no kidding. You're working on something really important. You've got something that you're working on, and you need to defend that from being sabotaged by whatever this is that you're surrounded by that's toxic. Look at this. The Eight of Pentacles with the Seven of Wands and the Five of Swords. You're working diligently. There's something you're crafting and creating that is yours. And you're like having to fend off all this toxic energy coming towards it. I mean, look at the this dynamic between these two guys. Like, you're literally having to push back something that is kind of threatening to sabotage it. This is definitely something that's it's like people looking at what you're doing, judging it, or trying to get in it, trying to take advantage of it, trying to use it for their gain. It's like there's something here that you're very defensive, that you're having to be very defensive about, having to be very protective, hold your ground so that you can keep focused on it's like you're like trying to keep away all these this could even be thought patterns. Like, this could be something that, a way that you inherited a thought pattern, a lack mentality, a self-sabotaging mentality that you're literally pushing back just in order to be able to focus. Like, you're like, get out of my head. Like, leave me alone. I'm trying to work. I have something to do. Which way was this? Fuck. Okay, oh my God. Two queens with the Empress. Yeah, so talk about creating. Talk about this is you, okay? I mean, Queen of Swords is the card of Libra. Queen of Pentacles, this is the card of Capricorn. And then here's the Empress in the middle. I feel like you're literally having to hold space for you to be able to create, whether you're male or female, masculine or feminine, right? These two here are the supreme creators in the deck. This is bringing into being, nurturing, creating. This is what you're focusing on. There's something that you're nurturing that's very important to you, and you have to protect it from this, right? This encroaching thing that threatens to sabotage it or corrupt it or somehow, yeah, wow, you're having to hold this space for yourself to be able to do this creation work. These two in reverse. Why are these two in reverse? I think you're like, this is the struggle, right? It's almost like there's, I think it's almost like you're having to disengage. How do I say this? This Queen of Swords being underneath the Five of Swords. I feel like the defensive energy or this defending against this encroaching, sabotaging influence, it's requiring you to be very cold or have a lack of understanding, which I think is actually really uncomfortable for Libra, right? This Queen of Swords is the sign of Libra. It's that sign of understanding, seeing things from both sides, having that higher perspective where you can see both parties and understand clearly. The fact that she's in reverse, along with this Empress, I feel like you're going, no, you know what? I don't need to understand. I don't even want to understand this. This is not something I want to understand. There's this like, yeah, there's this stepping out of that kind of Libra energy. I feel like you're almost like, you know what? I've given too much understanding. You know, I've given, I'm the only one understanding. Like, no, I need to do what I need to do. I need to protect what I need to protect. It's this, I can't afford to be out here giving understanding to everybody when I have this important thing that I have to nurture and nourish and bring into being. It's like, you know that you have to sacrifice that ability to understand in order to create properly at this moment. Yeah, it's like literally going, they've been using my ability to understand against me. They've been using my ability to be so understanding to gain access to my things, my precious things, or to gain access to me. There's something here about cutting off a level of understanding that you've had for people in order to support your ability to create from a place of not being influenced by this outside. Yeah, you're disengaging in that. That understanding energy, which you know how to do so well. Exactly. You're like, no, you know what? I'm out of here. So here we have the Eight of Cups with the Ace of Wands in reverse and the Six of Swords. You're just cutting it out. You're like, I cannot engage with this anymore. I need to remove myself from the situation. I need to disengage. I need to stop trying to understand. I need to, it's like there's, in order to tap into this creative force, this Ace of Wands, that's your ability to create. This is fertility and passion and inspiration and the inner fire that is our life force. It's like that, in order to tap into that for yourself, you're like, I'll walk away from everything. I'll walk away from everything and everybody. On either side of this Ace of Wands is the two cards of like getting away, walking away. This is separating, leaving, and this is releasing. um, allowing it to be what it is, kind of like, walk. And you see they're both going in the same direction too. Like this guy is walking away into his cave, and then these folks on this boat, they're going in that same direction. It's like, you have to leave a lot behind. You have to disengage and leave a lot behind in order to honor this ability you have to create. You're like, wow, that's quite a feat. It feels like a feat of like, I think you have a lot depending on you. I think you have a lot of creations, whether this is children or people or a business or something that is depending on your ability to create and to hold space and nourish and be like, you have reached a point where you're like, I can no longer engage in this toxic environment, this group, this social setting. I can no longer afford to be so understanding and always be able to see the right thing to say. And it's like, you're like, no, fuck that, I'm out. Even if you're not physically leaving a situation, there's a separation happening where you're disengaging in order to, and walking away and releasing. This feels like Libra going, you know what, I tried to be understanding, but you guys are going to be in this toxic thing, so I'm going to leave you to it, kind of thing. Like, enjoy, Libras are always trying to make things right and balance things out. So if you have pushed a Libra to this, whoo boy, they give you a lot of patience, right? This feels like way beyond, when people are like, I've had it up to here, it's like, I feel like this Libra has been understanding and understanding and understanding and accommodating and making space. And, oh, I see, their higher good, or, oh, I see what they really mean. Not anymore. Libra's like, I'm not giving an inch of leeway to this anymore. You may not be, I don't necessarily like see a physical move. It's more of this mental shift. It's more of a mental shift from, oh, I can make this work. Like if these three were in an upright scenario, it'd be kind of like, oh, I could maintain this. I could make this work. I could figure out a way to exist within this pattern, within this, the way that you guys are doing things in this group, in this family, XYZ. It's like, but no, they're all three in reverse. It's kind of like Libra being like, I've been trying to make it work. I've been trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. I've been trying to give you these higher perspectives so that you could do the right thing. There's something that is done. There's some kind of accommodation that Libra has been engaged in that is over. And there's some kind of mental block coming down, that's like, Libra is no longer putting up with it, because the creations in Libra's lap are so important to Libra. It's like, it's almost like the Libra's making this decision based on the fact that they have a responsibility to their creations. Like it's not even about like, oh, you crossed me or you did me wrong. It's like, no, you're getting in my way. You're getting in my way. You're stopping me from being able to create this pattern, this drama, this, these outside influences. They're stopping me from being able to create the things that I'm trying to create. They're stopping me from being able to focus. so that I can do what I came here to do. There's this responsibility to the creations themselves. It feels very powerful. I like it, Libra. Yeah, it feels very final too, or not even final, just like, I wouldn't want to be on the other side of this, Libra. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't, it's very forceful. It's very powerful. It feels like you're standing in your power as a creator, as a, taking responsibility for that. Taking responsibility, like, there's a lot of responsibility here that you're taking for the things that you're putting out into the world, and you're recognizing how much you're being influenced by those around you, and you're recognizing that it's up to you to disengage with that and to figure out how to create anyways. It's like you've stopped trying to convince people. Yeah. You've stopped trying to convince people to be different. You've stopped trying to change this pattern. I think you've accepted that you cannot change this pattern. It's like you've accepted it as a loss. There may be people that you're walking away from. There may be relationships that you're releasing. Or it could just be that you're releasing the hold that these relationships have had over you. Like, you're releasing your investment. You're like, I've been trying to help you out. I've been trying to change this pattern for the better. I've been trying to stick it in there with you guys, and you're like, you're realizing that you can't take responsibility for everybody else who's doing toxic shit around you, and you have to focus on what you are tending to. That's your only responsibility. Okay, what is Libra's clearest path forward? How can Libra best move forward? What is Libra's clearest path forward? I'll take those. What is Libra's clearest path forward? I'm just going to take those two. That's it. That's the advice. The Sun and Justice. These are your creations, and this is you. This is your responsibility to your creations. And fulfilling that. It's like there's this contract between what we bring into this world and us. Like, right? When we bring something into the world, when we create something, when we make something, children or beings, when you bring anything into life, it's like a contract. Like, you do have a responsibility to that entity, right? To the actions that then carry forward because of your creations, right? So there's this, like, just this knowing. This tells me you're already on the right path. This is like, you don't even really need any advice. Like, I think you're already you're doing what you need to do, right? You are handling your contracts. You're honoring the contracts of your creations. And this is just a reminder that is sacred, that those responsibilities are your only responsibilities. You see how those were the only ones that came out, right? It's like all these other people, all this other drama, all these other influences, like, they're not your responsibility. The only thing that's your responsibility is what you create. That's beautiful, beautiful advice just for everybody, right? You know, we all have Libra somewhere in our charts. We all have a 7th house, which is how we relate to others. And that's this justice card. It's the balancing of the scales. It's seeing how does this measure out? Is this equal? Is this fair? What is reciprocal? What are my duties? What are the contracts? This is contract as well. Agreements. Okay, you do this, I'll do that. So what are the contracts that you have with your creations? Right? You write those contracts yourself. We write them ourselves. And those are the only responsibility. You do not, when people are around you in social settings, families, like I said, social media, that is not your responsibility to direct how that goes. Like those are not your responsibilities. These are your creations. And I think what this speaks about is how much energy gets spent when we have to defend, when we engage with those outside influences, right? Just in order, it's like you can get taken away from focusing on what you need to do if you're so focused on defending yourself or engaging or fighting back or convincing other people or right? We can get drawn into draining ourselves dry in that way. Or you can, not even draining yourself dry, you can get drawn into neglecting the things that actually are your responsibility. Like, that's what is at risk here, right? That you would just get caught up with trying to fix this scenario or this group dynamic and then, you know, get derailed from what you were trying to do. But I don't see that in the cards. I don't see that happening to Libra. Or I don't see Libra doing that. I see Libra honoring their contracts and stepping up and realizing like, oh shit, if I keep engaging with this toxic shit, I'm not going to be able to be there for my kids in the way I want to. I'm not going to be able to complete the projects I started. I'm not going to be able to build my business in the way I want. There's this like very mature taking responsibility for that. I like it. Okay, let's get a rune for a power stance for Libra. What is Libra's power stance for Aries season and for the next 6 months? Okay. Ansus. Signals, messages, communication, listening. Pay attention. Pay attention. That's what this says. Watch for the signs. Watch for the signals. When the signals come in, listen to them. You're right. That's what this also says. Like your inner voice, it's correct. There's also something here about the flow of information. Like, hold on, let me see. There's a bunch of 8s. Justice is an 8. Justice is 8? I thought strength was 8. Is that different in this deck? That's weird. Strength. We've got the 8 of Pentacles. We've got a 5, 6, 7, 8. There's something here about being able to adjust to new information, like to not get stuck. That's what eights are, right? Is like spending a lot of time. You see the infinity sign above her head? It's like spending a lot of time in something, investing, putting a lot of time into something. So this tells me be careful what you spend time in information wise. Like, be careful what you invest your time in mentally, to listening. It's almost like, what are you listening to on the radio? What are you absorbing? What information are you absorbing? Curate that. Like, you're absorbing information, right? So pay attention to it, but also take control of those messages. Like, yeah, there's something here about allowing new information to come in and allowing yourself to actually change your mind, make new decisions, make new opinions about things, like adjust your way of thinking based on the new signs and symbols and information that comes to you. It's like, that's an interesting power stance because it feels very different. It feels very receptive, and this feels very powerful, right? This is like, no, I'm not being receptive, right? No, I'm not going to be influenced by outside influences. So it's nice to see this kind of balancing, like, be fluid, allow yourself to listen and take in new information as you are committing to these contracts of your creations, right? Like, I think there's something about not getting locked in this mode, right? Like, not spending too much time being responsible. It's like, don't get stuck there. Allow yourself to grow and change, even as you're having to be firm. And right, it's a balance. That's a rune that balances this out. I also associate this rune with Gemini, which is another air sign. And, you're pretty present here in the reading with the Queen of Swords and Justice both showing up. And the only other real signs here, like earth signs, we've got the Capricorn. The Empress can be associated with Libra too because of Venus, but is often associated with Taurus as well. So there's kind of earthy vibes too. And then, fire as well. But this rune is another air sign, and it's the only other air sign here. It's this Gemini quality, which is much more fluid than Libra, right? Libra's exact. Libra wants things to weigh out, and Gemini is kind of all over the place, right? It's mutable air. It's not cardinal air. It's changing and going in all different directions. And so there's something about allowing yourself to just loosen up in that Gemini air type way to balance your super strong Libra. I will not be moved. Like, right? Like, this is my way or the highway, and this is, oh, let's see, what about this way? What about that way? Right? So it's a balance. It's a balance. This is asking you to find ways to be fluid and to listen and to be receptive, even as you're doing all this. Forceful, cutting out. Yeah. I like it, Libra. I like it a lot. I think Libra feels really strong in Aries season. I think it's one of the oppositions, right? Like, all the signs have an opposite sign. Whatever's opposite them, you know, in the year. So when we hit Libra season, we'll have the full moon will be in Aries because it's opposite. The moon is opposite the sun when the moon is full, right? So we just had our Libra full moon, or the full moon in Aries season is in Libra. We just had that a few days ago. So Libra and Aries are opposites, but I always feel that they're some of the most agreeable opposites. Like, they like each other. Mars and Venus, right? Aries is Mars and Libra is Venus, and air and fire, like they create more of each other, right? So I feel like, yeah, I feel like Libra, when we're in Aries season, Libra gets a lot of power from it. So looks like you're using it wisely and doing what you need to do. So thank you. I hope this was helpful, and who's next? Scorpio. Okay, I'll see you then.